Come with us on this journey.
Welcome to another fun-filled and exciting episode of Midwest Real. I'm Jim. This is Robert.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about, well, last time we talked about eating cheese, and we'll talk about the Wisconsin factor in filmmaking.
Why, is Wisconsin known for cheese or something?
Is Wisconsin known for cheese? You Canadian, you.
One of the things that I like about filming here, besides the fact that we live here, obviously, so it keeps the budget down because the locations are here, is Wisconsin actually has a lot of great things to offer. Madison, the capital, great city. There's some really iconic locations. Milwaukee on the lake. Then you have the farmlands. You have the Dells, Door County. I mean, there's so much. I know I'm leaving a lot of stuff out, but there's so many different aspects, and we've barely touched the surface because we've really only shot around here. And luckily, you, living here all your life, have brought some really cool locations to the foreground. For instance, when we did When I Go, how did you discover that location?
Happy Hollow Park. So actually, that was a park that was not far from where I worked. And it's not on anybody's radar. It barely gets used. And I discovered it.
Except for the day we were filming.
Except for the day we filmed, of course. But it was one of those things that I discovered because it's like I wanted someplace nearby where I could just get away from the office and chill out and eat my lunch. And I discovered it was there. And there were a lot of times when I would just sit there and eat and not see a single other human being. And so I thought it would be a perfect place to shoot. If, one of the things that we ran into was the trail that we wanted to use, that they stopped mowing it. And so we couldn't use the exact part of the woods that we wanted to because we couldn't access it. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But again, kind of going back to the last episode where, sometimes, things happen and you have to punt.
Right.
And go to plan B or even plan C or D. That was one of those where it's like, well, we can't do this, so let's do it in this part of the park instead.
Right. And then for space between, the locations that we used were pretty much around where we live, very local. But we also did have to shoot down in Beloit. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the one that brought that contact for the Beloit Filmworks.
Beloit Filmworks. Yeah, they are a site location service that's somewhat affiliated with Beloit International Film Festival.
Okay.
Helps people, make contacts and find places where they can shoot scenes for their films.
Which was fantastic because the location we used actually by the Beloit College actually turned out to be better, in my opinion, than I think where I originally wanted to shoot, which is an abandoned building. But I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. So I know for the next one that we're working on, we're scouting locations. We're trying to find sort of rundown, abandoned places. So that'll probably still be local within Rock County where we live. Is there any place that you would want to film in Wisconsin that you think like that would make a great backdrop for something?
Oh gosh. I mean, we've really been fortunate in what we've used so far. I mean, we used hiking trails, in a wooded area behind Mocha Moment for me and Dad.
That's right.
It worked really good. We also used Schaefer Park on the northeast side for part of that as well. So, I mean, we're really fortunate. There's a lot of wide open spaces and wooded areas. And if we ever needed like city scenes or whatever, I mean, Madison is a half hour away and Milwaukee's an hour away.
Right. Even that we've used locally, the Janesville Performing Arts Center. We had to use a box office scene for space between. And so we have the best of both worlds here because we have some really good cultural sites, really good public spaces, as well as the private parks, the rivers, the paths and things like that, which I really enjoy. And the seasons. It's one thing that you can't get in some places around the country. Winter's winter here and fall really is fall.
Yeah, because space between, we've got, scenes with snow on the ground and, scenes that were shot during the summer. And, so yeah, we've got that option of the four seasons as well, as you mentioned. I mean, there are parts of, this area that we haven't used to its fullest, probably. Like, I mean, we could set up scene at a farm because there's no lack of farms or farm fields here if we wanted to do that. it's funny because you see writers like book writers, like Michael Perry, his stuff. I mean, it's very Wisconsin, and a lot of his work is essays, but even his fiction work, like 40 Acres Deep. I mean, you know where he's talking about because he's very good at describing the area there, and it's an area that, I mean, we've got access to here if we decide to use. Or Stephen King. I mean, just about everything Stephen King writes is set in Maine, and
Right.
so you read enough of his work, and you have a pretty good idea of what it's like in Maine.
And Maine becomes a character
Yeah.
in the story, which we haven't really done with our short films. We haven't really necessarily made Wisconsin a character.
No.
But it does bring something to the film. What do you think about, because our films have gone on to win at film festivals around the country. Do you think it hurts us, hinders us, or not at all that some of our actors have Wisconsin accents?
We were just talking about this after I saw the movie Song Sung Blue, because Kate Hudson's character, and if you haven't seen Song Sung Blue, it's a pretty good film. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson about this couple who were, if they were a real couple, they were Neil Diamond interpreters.
Right.
And
From Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee.
Right.
And Kate Hudson's character has a little bit of an accent, a lilt to her voice. And, some people compared it to Fargo, but it's nothing anywhere close
Yeah, that
to
was a
how
deep
thick
accent.
Fargo was. But that was accurate because back 30, 40 years ago, people from the south side of Milwaukee, especially in the suburbs of Cudahy and South Milwaukee, definitely had a lilt to their voice. And so that can be a part of what we do. I mean, we've never really utilized that in our films, and I don't know how noticeable. I mean, I feel like we don't have accents.
Right.
But I was at a Philadelphia Phillies baseball game one time. I was sitting next to a guy, and he and I are chatting, and the guy sounds like some combination of Rocky and Bowser from Sha Na Na. So, we're talking during the game. He's like, "Oh yeah, the Phillies, they're a bunch of bums this year, And he's going on, and at some point he says to me, so you're from Michigan or what?" And I said, "Well, close, Wisconsin." He's like, "Oh yeah, I could tell by your accent."
See, that's fine.
So-
And I bet you to him, he sounds
Yeah.
normal.
I mean, he's among his people.
Yeah.
He just
So it's interesting.
sitting there watching baseball and having a Philly cheesesteak, and
Yeah.
which, by the way, a real Philly cheesesteak has cheese whiz on it, not melted cheese.
And there is the cheese reference for this episode.
Yep, the mayor of Philadelphia himself told us that it's only real if it's using cheese whiz.
So one of the things that's been in the news recently about Wisconsin is they've opened it up now to filmmaking for large budget films, which they've done films here in the past that have gone on to great success and had bigger budgets. But it's interesting that they're opening it up now, and I'm curious to see what some of that's going to bring to the state.
I hope that it'll bring more films to the state. A previous administration in state government felt that film credits were a waste, which was one of many dumb things that administration thought. But because I think the last really major film that was made here was the Johnny Depp film that was shot in Columbus. It was a gangster film.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And
Yep.
the name of it escapes me, to be honest.
Well, didn't they shoot the Song Sung Blue in Milwaukee, some scenes?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they did.
I think it was shot in New Jersey. It wasn't shot in Milwaukee.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It was set in Milwaukee, but it wasn't shot there.
One of these days, we have to figure something out where we can kind of like a road trip movie or something, where we can kind of highlight some of the different aspects of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Merrimack Ferry is very cool.
That is.
I will go out of my way when I'm driving in that part of Wisconsin just to take the ferry.
And it's short. It's only like 25 minutes or something.
Oh, it's not even that.
Not even that? Okay.
Maybe 5 minutes to get across. I mean, when you talk about taking an area and really making it a feature of your film, when they shot Groundhog Day in Woodstock, Illinois, I was living there at the time.
Okay.
So it was fascinating to watch all of that happen because a lot of the shooting took place on, the town has a square. There's literally a town square, and in the middle of the city, there's a park with a gazebo and everything else. And so the scenes where they're taking the groundhog out of the little, container or whatever, were all in the main park in the center of town, and we watched them filming those scenes. And then all of the buildings along the square, had like false storefronts on them while they were shooting.
Okay.
And then there would be like little notes on the door that this is really whatever. It's not Rexall or whatever.
That's funny.
And then there's a scene where Bill Murray is like jumping out of a tower. That's the Woodstock Opera House.
Oh, wow.
There is an actual, where the B&B where he was staying, where he, electrocutes himself with the toaster or whatever.
Is it still there, the B&B?
Yeah, it's an actual place. The missing piece of sidewalk where Bill Murray steps in the water. I mean, there's a footprint there on the sidewalk and a little plaque to show this is where this happened. I was just in Woodstock eating in a restaurant where Bill Murray toasts to world peace with Andy McDowell, and there's a little plaque there. This is where they sat and did this. So they really took that area, that city, and made the most out of it and utilized everything that there was to offer there. I mean, every time I watch that film, it's like, yep, I know where that is. I know where that is. I know where that is. So that's a good classic example of taking the area where you are and really utilizing it to the fullest.
Yeah, I wish we could do something like that. That's obviously a budget to make those storefronts and such, but that would be great. But that's something to look forward to, and a goal to have is to sort of utilize what we have here in Wisconsin and make it part of the film.
Come with us on this journey.